Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission.
I really pray that as people are, watching and listening, that they would kind of even pause and reflect in a Selah kind of manner David in the Psalms would often end with, and step back and take a look at not only China, because it might not be as poignant in many people's lives, but their own circumstances and situations, the suffering that God allows, the brokenness that He uses to create beauty. Recently, the Lord put thoughts of brokenness on my heart, wanting to write a book about that. And I've been thinking a lot about Kintsugi. You've heard of this Kintsugi, Japanese term for the repairing of broken pottery with that gold seams. There was, in the 15th century, a tradesman, and he had all this pottery that was broken in the palace, and the emperor wanted him to repair it, so he thought of new different methods. They started using gold, platinum, and silver along the seams to repiece these broken, valuable pottery back together. Well, it elevated the value of the pottery so much that these different men would take actual vessels whole and smash them intentionally so that they could seam them back together with gold, platinum, silver, and elevate the value. It seems to me all the brokenness that God either allows or that has taken place in our lives, or the church has undergone, the suffering, God is somehow able to take brokenness and create beauty, elevate the value of His people, and include us in His glory, even through that shattered and broken shards.
That's a beautiful image. Recently, my wife and I read a book by Michael Card. It's called A Sacred Sorrow, and it's a book about lament. And he says we've really lost the ability in our age to lament, and the ability to do what David and what Jeremiah and what Christ Himself and so many others in Scriptures understood. He makes this statement: "There's no worship without wilderness." And oftentimes we don't want to go to the wilderness, but we don't realize that God's taking us there so we could have just a much greater appreciation for who He is and His love.
As you described that, immediately I'm reminded of a situation that took place. It was in Shandong, northeastern China, and it was about 2005. Met some leaders in the underground church there who came down for a training. They requested that my wife and I, go up and train young leaders how to play guitar and lead worship. And we would be there. We were locked in this compound, not allowed to go out for one solid week. And we would teach guitar and worship. We worshiped all day and all night. And before the classes begin that I was teaching in Chinese, we would be woken up, my wife and I, by the sound of wailing and crying. Well, it was the Chinese prayer time. You know what I'm talking about. Those deep, it seems to be when the church that I've, experienced along the way is very vocal in their tears, and you can see brokenness and that humility and just calling and crying out to God. This is what's marked the Chinese church for me. The wilderness is very much a part of the lives of the people that I've experienced along the way. A new church may not have experienced those deep struggles of the past, but there is some sort of intimacy that is found in pouring your spirit, your soul out before the presence of God, and He leads you on in a new direction and thus empowers you to see the gospel spread beyond what you had previously realized.
There's so much that we can learn from our brothers and sisters in China, and I would agree that's one thing that we really need to try to take on board in our own lives and ponder.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.